Hey yo guys, what's up? I'm Medoa, and today we're yet again talking about Hypixel Skyblock's bingo. This month is April 2024. Before we get into the video though, I'll quickly announce a challenge. Since I've gotten first place in the last two bingos, I'll challenge everyone to beat me at speedrunning this bingo for first place. And if you actually manage to beat me for first place, I'll give away 250 million coins to the winner. And on top of that, amongst everyone completing this bingo, no matter the placement, I'll draw a random winner for a giveaway of a free rank upgrade on Hypixel in my Discord server. This does not require you to subscribe though, so only do so if you actually enjoy my content or you want to be updated on uploads. Otherwise, joining my Discord server will absolutely suffice, and I'll announce everything in there from now on anyways. But for now, let's get back into the video. Here's a look at this month's bingo card. It's 25 tasks, whereas 20 of them have to be completed to obtain a bingo card. The card this month is very spread, and it feels like you have to do a little bit of everything. The crystal hollows are back on the table as well, as you need Gemstone Collection, and this is also the very first bingo we've seen the Friends of the Sea task with an uncommon dolphin pet. And in order to start out on a bingo, I've already prepared a video about the perfect bingo start. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'd recommend you do so, as I'll link it right up here. But for now, let's cover this month's bingo card in my assessment of the task's difficulties. Easy. Here, we already have 15 tasks. This, however, does not mean that this card will be a walk in the park. But starting out, we have collecting data. A passive task, as you will most certainly be completing it once you start working towards other tasks. But in case you're missing some milestones, the Spider's Den offers a great variety of mobs, and this is also where you'll find the Brassmasked Beast Slayer, who'll introduce you to the best area. Strongman, yet again a pretty passive task, as you'll most certainly end up having enough strength with a random God Splash and the later on required aspect of the end. But either way, make sure to use the right reforges like Fierce on your armor, and for a sword I'd recommend Heroic or Epic. Healthy, jumping from one passive task to the other, here again probably achieved by just playing, but the growth enchantment on a mushroom armor worn at night should be more than enough to get you there. Skilled. If you've been following my perfect bingo start, then you'll already have it completed, but simply enchanting a single item will grant you this task. Fairy Finder. 25 fairy souls are super easy to find. They can actually all be done in the hub, and here my only recommendation would be the NotEnoughUpdates mod, as it has this neat feature, NEU souls, which will just make it even easier. I see stars. The easiest way to achieve this task would be to simply star a spider's hat, as it only requires 75 spider essence, and those can simply be acquired in the Spider's Den whilst fighting Arachne. Trouble is brewing. Farm up 1,000 sugarcane and craft an enchanted sugar, to then be brewed into a speed potion, finished up with glowstone dust. And glowstone dust is simply acquired by buying a glowstone block from the builder and breaking it up into dust. Lucky looter. The best way to go about this task would be to just simply kill zombies in the graveyard, as even the potatoes and carrots dropped by them have only a 1% chance to drop, but here again, you'll most likely just simply get it somewhere else in the bingo. Spider Queen. Killing Arachne Keepers will drop an Arachne Calling, which can then be placed on the altar to then summon an Arachne. Simple as that. A real head scratcher. Talk to the puzzler found next to the king in the Dwarven Mines and simply hit the block he's referring to in his text. Minion Machine. As this bingo is again a very minion heavy bingo, it's yet again probably just completed by simply playing. But getting every wood type minion up to tier 4 would also just do the job. Carry on. The small backpack collection is unlocked at 250 leather, which is not too much over the 80 required collection for the cow minion, so my recommendation is to just simply farm it up by hand in the barn. Hunter and setting a trap go hand in hand and are completed by talking to the trapper. Note that the warp trapper command is already unlocked on bingo, and then you just simply hunt a single trapped animal. Lastly on easy, we have Tarantula Broodfather. The last easy task, and it's also a community task. It's completed by, just like the name says, killing a tier 2 Tarantula Broodfather, but as it's a community task, it's actually not required for the card. Moving on to Medio. KABOOM. Even though this card doesn't require combat level 15, as no other task requires you to join a dungeon, and this one is a community task as well, you shouldn't be too far off of it, and simply joining one and blowing up a crypt will reward you with this goal. A best friend. Crafting a pet is as simple as getting a chicken head by using a setup like this, and then either using a chicken minion to farm up 2,500 raw chicken collection, or do it by hand. After you got an enchanted egg, you can then craft the notorious Jerry pet. Farmer and Carrot Collector. Again, go hand in hand, and here the approach is very simple. Get yourself 2 plots, as you'll be able to farm on one whilst replanting the other one, and here the 2 visitors, mentioned in my perfect start video, come in quite useful, as they will help you quite a bit obtaining the advanced garden hoe. And the last tip on this one is just use your carrots to craft pet candy, as this will increase the pet's level and therefore also the collection perk. Friend of the Sea. The very first time we got to see this task with an uncommon pet, but it's not as painful as it sounds, as there's a simple way of avoiding most of the grinding. Get yourself a common dolphin pet, which is also the reason it's a medium rarity task, and then upgrade it at cat. This will then take 24 hours, but it will save you a lot of time fishing. The green gold. Once again, we got the emerald ring, and yet again the fastest way to obtaining it is up on the cards above the dwarven mine spawn. And lastly in medium, strange eggs. The most RNG based task this month, and there is sadly no real way to improving your chances. And therefore, the fastest way of obtaining eggs would be going through the goblin hideouts, searching through chests and structures, or otherwise known as structure running, and then simply throwing it and then praying for a golden goblin to spawn. Good luck. Lastly, we move on to the hard tasks, and just like every other bingo, there isn't too many of them, but they hit pretty hard. Rotten Flesh Collector. This, and even though it's not as bad as the gunpowder collection required from last bingo, most definitely also requires some attention, as even with a lot of minions, it will most likely take some time. So I'd recommend you, just like last time, to get at least 10 to 12 minion slots and fuel them with cheese obtained by rats from the hub. And since I've seen this happen quite a bit last bingo, please don't underestimate this task. Zoop. Zoop or Zoop? Zoop. Zoop? I don't know. Crafting an aspect of the end. Here the challenge lies within the blaze powder required for the enchanted Eye of Ender. You can either use the blazes spawned by Baal and then simply craft the blaze minion to acquire blaze rods, or if there is enough time left, you can also just buy the 640 daily blaze powder from the alchemist. But remember, since you'll need 2048 blaze powder in total, this would require you to buy the daily powder for a total of 4 days in a row. And last but not least, Gemstone Collector. The only reason we'll have to go back into the crystal hollows. In order to complete this task, the simplest way would be a single nucleus run. The best way for farming up the jungle key and the parts required for the sapphire crystal is probably by looking out for parts and chests shared in the dedicated channels on Discord servers, like for example the Bingo Brewers Discord, linked down below. Other than that, a less optimal but still a viable way would be to kill mobs such as the Team Treasurite members with a looting sword, but this requires a ton of kills and also a ton of time. And lastly, I'll mention it just as a fun fact, Scathas or Scathas also drop fine gemstones, meaning at least 6,400 collection per Scatha. But I personally wouldn't recommend that. Alrighty, just like with every bingo, if you're still here and you're interested in bingo guides every single month, then feel free to subscribe, and I'd also obviously really appreciate a like. But let's move on. For players joining with a lower bingo rank, this probably is a really good fit, as the only thing that actually requires a lot of collection is a carrot collection. And here, a sack is always something I'd recommend, as it'll make the grind a lot more chill. And since you'll already need leather for the small backpack anyways, you'd already be on a good start. For players starting late, like with every minion heavy bingo, the biggest difference will be the minion usage. And on this bingo, especially since the upgrade of the common to the uncommon dolphin requires 24 hours, a late start is most certainly not recommended. And lastly, since it was requested, here's a tiny step-by-step guide for you guys to work with. Other than that, here's a last look at this month's bingo card, and I wish you all the very best of luck with it. Thank you very much for watching, and if any question remains, then feel free to ask them down below in the comment section or on my Discord server. But that's it for now, and see ya.